Good evening, everybody.
Yes, good evening. Good to be here.
It is, man. It is. Always, I've tried to cut back on my alcohol intake, so I have a drink when we record, and then usually about 2 nights out of the weekend. So instead of about 6 nights a week, I'm down to about 3 nights a week.
I kind of tried to follow your lead there, and I think I've had one night this week where I totally could have. And like last night, which yesterday, we're recording here on Thursday, of course. On Wednesday, I was not at the vet clinic. I was off, and so I've been working outside all day. So I was like, I just want a beer.
Yeah.
As soon as I got done, and I ended up drinking a couple of beers, and that was it. So
well, it is, and I don't know. You know, somebody listening might be like, well, that's what an alcoholic would say. But, like, for me, it's more the ritual of just, I enjoy the pour and just sipping on the drink. And, I mean, I guess they make that, I don't know, I haven't ever tried it, but they make a non-alcoholic bourbon or whiskey.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a non-alcoholic whiskey. I've never tried it. I don't even remember the name of it.
Yeah,
but I heard somebody.
That's even, yeah.
Because there's a non-alcoholic, like, well,
I know there's like O'Doul's and and Bush NA and
but there is a whiskey of, well, I don't know what you'd call an imitation fake whiskey, but it has no like alcohol content.
Yeah, that's
see, and
that makes
and I would almost like to test myself with that, because now that I'm thinking about it,
which maybe this is wrong that I was like this. Like when I grew up, like Westerns were my thing, like John Wayne, and of course they're always belling up to a bar, you know, with the swinging doors and taking shots of whiskey. And I remember like playing, like we were cowboys, and we would have like little like shot glasses with sweet tea. You know, because
it looks like it.
Oh man, we would do that all the time. So I don't. So people probably like, oh my God, your parents let you play and pretend like you were drinking hard liquor.
Well,
like,
I think was it last episode?
I don't know that my parents weren't sitting there pouring them for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it was just a couple episodes. I said, I was smoking cardboard while I was out there. So, I got to share something real quick. While you just made me think of something. You never watched The Ranch, did you?
Yeah, I watched a little of it. I don't know that I ever watched like a complete season with Ashton Kutcher and Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I got to find this one little clip real quick. Play on here because it was like perfect. I don't know why I'm a little Bluetooth.
I think I know which one you're gonna do. Where I can't even remember his character's name, but Sam's at the doctor.
Yes, yeah. It is that is like my favorite thing. I've had, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I had several people send me that, like implying that was like me. I don't know how I should take that, but man, where is it? I gotta find it. It was good.
Oh yeah, well a lot of people even use like the audio from that, like to post it over their YouTube short or their reels or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, just Sam Elliott's voice alone, you know, I mean,
dude, Sam. All right, here we go.
I could listen to him just read the dictionary.
I could too. Here you go.
I'd like you to cut back on red meat.
Pass.
You're also gonna have to cut down on your drinking.
Try again.
What about stress? What do you do to reduce it?
Eat steak and drink whiskey.
And it's not far off the mark. I mean, I used to tell everybody, man, I when I was machining, I didn't drink near the alcohol that I started drinking as a farmer. Yeah. So I did eat a lot of red meat then, still do, but but I was gonna say I'd almost like to test myself on the non-alcoholic whiskey, because I've tried the fake dip and this is where I'm like, all right, so would that be like, is it an addiction to the alcohol or the ritual? Because the fake dip, the kind that doesn't have nicotine, it's just a part of me that I'm like, it just don't feel right. Like when I put the dip in, but so I almost feel like I'd be the same way. Like I actually drink some decaf coffee because I drink regular coffee and I love coffee so much that I want too much. And then you said you can drink it all day.
You know, I mean, I can get jittery, but does the decaf taste the same?
Yeah.
So it tastes the same.
It does, but
I think I could do that then, because I mean, I would say I enjoy the caffeine, and
Yeah.
like I go for that, but I guess I would have to try it. Like, I don't know that if you took the caffeine away from it, that it would reduce the experience or hamper the experience.
I still really enjoy it, and I think did I ever tell you about the time I accidentally made everybody decaf when I was a machinist and they didn't know it?
Oh, well, that happens all the time. Where like my mom did that to my dad for a while, where she would take an empty can. My dad always drank Folgers. I think they still do it. It comes in a big plastic can.
Yeah.
Because used to it came in the tin coffee can. Would dump or would just take an old one and would dump the decaf in there. And my dad went a while doing that.
He was like, "Man, my head hurts and I'm tired."
Yeah.
Yeah. See, if I don't drink coffee now, I'll have a headache. Like, I've gotten to the point where I drink coffee every day.
Like, I'll have a day every now and then where, like, for just some weird reason, like, I can't get it, but that's super rare. It would have to see, like, we're out of town or something, and wherever we're staying, we don't have a coffee maker in the room or whatever, and we just, I've been up for a couple hours before we actually get somewhere to get a cup of coffee, and I don't feel like I notice.
Really?
Man,
that's
like,
good.
I want it, but, like, I don't feel like I'm just that dependent on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Well, I'll tell you something that everybody does need to try out that's listening. And that is our new partners on the podcast.
Yes.
Ag Zaga. We have teamed up with them. And what you said, they got a special going on right now, or their big thing right now?
Well, they've always got different specials. Of course, check them out at agzaga.com. But, which I guess, the best special is use the discount code TalkDirt.
Get 10% off.
It's all special then.
Yep.
But, they're your online source for the American flag and FFA bale net wrap, which if people have been watching my YouTube, not just the Talk Dirt to Me YouTube, but Hurricane Creek Farms, you've seen I kind of partnered up with them, I guess, going back 2 or 3 months ago, and been using. Yeah. I've actually used a bunch of their products. Heck, we've even highlighted one of their products in our Made in USA.
Sprayer,
yeah, the ag sprayer, that UTV sprayer specifically is what I've got. But all kinds of stuff. The bale net wrap, for wrapping your round bales. It's one of the big deals. The American flag. I mean, which the FFA, they have the blue and gold. For them, they have just the plain too. I guess for the communists out there that are listening.
I wish they had like a Jolly Roger.
I don't
pirate
know,
flag.
But it would.
Would it get out of sync?
Yeah,
there?
It needs to be something that's a continuous pattern. Because depending on what diameter, many. Yeah,
that would have been pretty cool though. If they could figure out a way to do the Jolly Roger, that'd be pretty.
Yeah. When I first wanted the American flag wrap, because you see a few people doing it, you're like, God, well, none of our retailers around here would carry it. And I kind of stumbled across them back in the spring and ordered some. And one of the neat things about ordering from them, because you think, all right, bale net wrap, or like the sprayer, I got big bulky items. Okay, shipping's going to be outrageous.
Yeah.
Or it's going to take it, a month and a half to get here. No. The shipping's very reasonable and fast. So, you need to check them out.
And they're American owned.
Yes.
And I guess in Missouri.
Yes, they're not too far from us. Over in Missouri, just across the river. But discount code TalkDirt, all one word, no space.
Yeah, you'll need to use it. And I'll tell you too, they literally have damn near anything you can imagine.
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff on there.
If you got kids, they got all kinds of the good tractor toys, the Ertl. That's what I grew up on. I'm sure you're the same. The Ertl tractors, they got those.
Still got them, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My son has a hell of a tractor operation now. But so check them out. Like I said, we've teamed up with them, and we're excited. So use the discount code TalkDirt and go to agzaga.com. Yes. So we got quite a bit of things for this episode. I mean, it's a lot. It was a lot going on.
Yeah, I guess kind of when it rains, it pours kind of thing. Some weeks there's nothing going on in the news or the markets or anything. We don't have anything to talk about. And then, we both got here tonight, and I'm like, we both got, some kind of current events, issues, news stories, whatever you want to call them, that you guys need to hear about. I
guess first we got a listener question we need to address here. So, we always encourage y'all to please go and submit your questions to us. You can go on our website, talkdirtpodcast.com, and submit your questions on there. Always appreciate your questions. And this one comes in from a buddy of ours, and that is Mr. Tim. First thing he did say was about Smoky Mountain dip. He said they also use kudzu in their dip. Oh, wow. He's pretty sure. He said anything that uses that shit can't be all bad. It's what I use to quit dipping. I didn't know that he had quit dipping. So yeah, if it uses, which I've had kudzu jelly before. It's pretty good.
I'll be dang.
Yeah.
Cows will eat the hell out of it.
They will. They will. All right. Mr. Tim said, Bobby Lee, since you cut my fields, what would you recommend I do with my hay pastures in addition to putting lime down?
Well, and so, yes, I cut some of Mr. Tim's grass and rolled it for cow hay. If we're just trying to increase yield, lime, fertilizer, those sorts of things. Obviously, you get into a lot of costs there, and a lot of, like for my cow hay, what we really kind of go for is, lower inputs, kind of thing. We don't spend a whole lot of money on fertilizer and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although, as I sit here and say that, I think I am going to fertilize some hay this weekend.
Yeah.
Because my second cutting so far has been a little bit thin.
You're going to put about 300 units of nitrogen on there?
Yeah, something like that. I might do like 300 units per 5 acres.
Yeah.
Not per acre, but and so even like weeds aren't, use weeds as air quotes, because a lot of, what may be considered weeds, like traditionally we grew up, in our dad's operation, Bermuda grass. So anything other than Bermuda grass out there was a weed. Johnson grass, crabgrass. No, I'm totally happy with all the above in my cow hay.
Really? Is Johnson grass, is it true that it becomes poisonous after a frost?
So it can, especially if you have fertilized. It's nitrates or the prussic acid.
Gotcha.
So you do have to be a little careful if you do, if it does get hit with a frost. A lot of times which typically we don't want our hay to, if we got a frost coming right before our last cutting, we'll try to get in there and cut it real quick before it frosts. But you can leave it standing, usually for a set period of time, and that prussic acid level drops pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're messing with a lot of Johnson grass or like sorghum, Sudex, those types of things that can accumulate nitrates, and if there's any question, I would just have it analyzed to be sure. But yeah, that is a potential. I don't know, like if I had some that was just really like overrun with a lot of, broadleaf weeds, I'd probably hit it with some kind of a 2,4-D. But of course, we like the clover in our hay, just like our pasture. So if you do that, you're going to sacrifice all your clovers. So it depends. I would say, just specifically talking about his place, overall, like there may be a spot or two that like you could spray, and like I do that with a lot of my pasture because I don't want to eliminate all my clover as well. So I'll just spray. Like I got a bunch of cuckleberry.
You ever bust out a wick bar anymore?
No.
I used to use a wick bar back in the day.
I was severely traumatized by that in my teenage years, and there's been very few times in my life where I've really contemplated my existence, but running that wick bar. For reference, for people that don't know what a wick bar is, it's basically this was a big
PVC pipe,
probably 3-inch diameter PVC, filled with very concentrated. We used Roundup.
Yeah.
And then you've got just these little ropes, basically, or wicks coming out of it, where the liquid mixture, the chemical, just slowly leaches out. Basically, you drive at literally an ant's pace crawl, and you're just wiping that on the we would use it in Johnson grass
Yeah.
because Bermuda grass, doesn't get real tall very quickly. Johnson grass jumps up, like a weed, literally. And in that case, it was a weed. And so you would just wipe it on there. And the tractor I was using in road gear, this thing does like 12 miles an hour.
Was it the 870?
Yes, it's 870.
Because you use it on the front end loader.
Yep. Yeah, we had it rigged up. It was a pretty slick setup.
Yeah.
Because you could tilt it back to where the wicks were pointing upward to stop any of the chemical from coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how fast you were going or how slow you were going, but it was like less than a mile per hour.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, to get good coverage, we want you to go down and back in your same tracks. And they put me on I think maybe the only farm we ever did it on is like 40 acres Bermuda grass.
I was going to say the Rose Farm.
Right there in one block. And I was like, if I ever get off this tractor, like I'm never coming back. And that tractor, of course, no cab, a little bitty tractor, no canopy, anything. It's just you and
no radio. This is nothing.
Hours to cover just a few acres.
And this would have been like back in the day, like if you had
been in the mid 90s.
I was gonna say, if you had the CD player back then, it was the kind that if you hit a bump, it would like skip.
And I don't ever remember using a Walkman on or anything on a tractor.
Yeah.
Like, it was just me.
I don't either.
And my thoughts of it crossed my mind, like, if I just crash this thing in a ditch, like maybe I'll never have to do this again.
Trash it. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, the wick bar.
But there were a lot of things as a kid that I really didn't enjoy doing that now I'm like working on fence. But now because I work inside, dealing with, the general public on a day-to-day basis, that I'm just so happy. Like, let's just get out there and get hot and sweaty or scratched up by barbed wire or whatever.
Fencing is a weird thing for me because
it's very rewarding to like get a good stretch of fence done.
Yep.
And you're just like, man, that looks good.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Like, one thing I'll say here, and I'll kind of toot our horns a little bit, but like our dads have like very high standards of barbed wire fencing. And so I always have kind of taken a little bit of pride in like my fencing abilities. Like, I'm like, if me and some guy that had never like was not around us went out and put up fences, I know damn well my fence would be better. Like,
well, you see so much fence, especially like wire fence, where people either
they like barely hook the little latches around the post,
the wire ties, or really what gets you is the braces.
Yeah,
their corners, like, or they don't even try, or it is so, and I'm sure they don't know any better, and probably the general public driving by. I'm like, that looks effing terrible.
Yeah,
like I would be embarrassed to live there. Like, and trust me, I've got some fence that is not done, in spots, and it's in shambles, and sometimes you're in a hurry. You do stuff that's good enough, and it's you're not that proud of it. But when you really, take the time, do it right, you're like, oh hell yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, and it's kind of to harken back to when we talked about like chewing tobacco. You just feel like a man doing it. Fencing's another thing, man. Like, when I get done, like, because sometimes we'd fence and I got like a long sleeve denim shirt. Sometimes I wear them, and then sometimes the like just dumbass dude in me is like, no, I'm wearing short sleeves, by God.
I wear short sleeves doing it all the time.
I'm going to wear these as a badge of honor, because you're going to get cut up, and it's kind of a pride point for me.
It never fails. Like, and a lot of times I just get little scratches.
Yeah.
And, of course, working in the veterinary office, all the time, never fails. Like a day or two after that, I'll be working on a cat, and the client will be like, oh man, looks like one done got you pretty good there. And I was like, well, actually that was just a little barbed wire.
Yeah.
we were stretching some wire.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't done much fencing in a while anymore, but that was one thing, man. Like, I always felt a little extra manly when I'd be out there doing that.
But yeah, for Tim's question, I don't know, keeping inputs low, like for cow hay, maybe spot spraying here and there, but really I'm trying to think, none of his, it's overly weedy or anything like that. And really because you're cutting it, several times a year, a lot of the, weeds we have like in pasture and stuff aren't too big of a problem. And hay like thistles, things like that. We thankfully don't have that. But if you're wanting to maximize, a little nitrogen, of course, especially if it's primarily grasses, you don't really have much clover or anything. So.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I do need to update everybody real quick. We are sitting at 99 ratings and reviews.
So close.
We need one more to unlock this thing. And Bobby Lee and I have already been kind of talking behind the scenes on how we're going to do this giveaway and select the winner. But again, we get to 100. I mean, at this point, we said 100 by September 30th.
Well, now we're going for 200.
If we get, I told Marcy, if we get to 200, then we're both growing ponytails. And she was like, that's horrible. That's a terrible idea.
Or we could I don't know, maybe we could, get somebody one of those exclusive trips, like in a submarine to go see the Titanic or something.
Yeah. We could pay that, what was it, $250,000?
Yeah, something like that.
We could pitch you in a couple dollars here and there.
Totally safe.
Yeah, it's very safe.
Nothing to worry about.
Did the guy die that was doing it in that? Was the guy over it? Was he in the submarine?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that he used like an Xbox controller or something.
I don't know. And we shouldn't joke about, obviously, thoughts and prayers to the family kind of thing. But, that seemed like a bad idea.
It did, man. It just did. It's crazy how in real life, like people that listen to this, that have listened for a while, know that Bobby Lee and I will cover a vast range of topics in an episode, which I feel is the secret sauce of our show.
Yeah.
But it is wild how my YouTube watching is the same, because I had been researching about this submarine because I was like, how did this happen? And that led me then to James Cameron's deep sea adventure. The guy that made the Terminator?
Yeah.
He's one of like 3 or 4 people that's been to the deepest part of the ocean. He built his own submarine, and they went to the Titanic. It's like, I think like 13,000 feet deep.
My Lord, I don't have any idea.
James went to 35,000 feet deep in there. And I watched it, man. And it would be, dude, I don't think I could do it. Like, he's in this little bitty, it's like a long cylinder, and it don't float sideways. Like, it's straight. It's like vertical. And, cause they had researched some of the animals in the ocean or whatever. And he was like, when you get really deep, they're more vertical than they are horizontal. So he was like, we're going about it all wrong with these submarines. So they built one vertically, and it has like weights on it. And basically he gets down to the bottom, and it has little arms that come out, and he can like grab some stuff and kind of look around, but it's pitch black dark. And as he's going down, I mean, the thing is like he's like this, like it's very claustrophobic.
Yeah. And
it's super high rated steel because the pressure at that depth is ungodly.
Yeah.
And like in one of the trips down there, everything is like he hears stuff like popping while he's in this thing. And he's like, I don't know if that's a good thing to be hearing when I'm down here. And then at one point, like his controls just like quit. And if I remember right, he was actually stranded for like 8 or 16 hours underwater.
Crap.
But he went back again, and he does kind of go around, and he got to explore it. And he's one of 4 people, I think, that's been to that depth.
Yeah, I don't have any desire.
No. And there was nothing there. At that depth, there was no, in my head, like part of me is like, wants there to be this 200-foot long shark, like the megalodon or something.
Yeah.
But at that distance, like I think at one point he saw like a little, like I don't even know what they're called, a crustacean type thing, like, and that was it. Like there was no life down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just ain't got the nuts to go that deep.
No desire.
But
0.
YouTube led me there. But it was pretty fascinating. It was called like James Cameron's Deep Sea Adventure. But what topic did you have? You said you had one. I got several. So
I'll give a shout out to kind of the sources where we got this, and it was the report or whatever is from the Ag Center. That's the name of the website. It's agcenter.com or something.
Oh, not the Agri Center?
No, not the Agri Center in Memphis. But and this specifically is at cattlereport.agcenter.com. And
Gotcha.
I heard about it through Corbett Wall, who you probably heard me reference on here before.
Yeah.
'Cause I listened to his feeder flash, cattle market report and commentary, every morning. But I'll just read to you from here. It says the Cattle Report was able to obtain this prospective secret instruction sheet from unnamed sources. This imagined guide provides the color for behind-the-scenes communications at the buy desk to the field buyers. So basically, one of the big corporate beef packers, it was their kind of playbook for telling their buyers that procure their cattle how to do so. And of course, their goal is always to keep cattle prices suppressed. I mean, that's their biggest input. That's their biggest cost.
Yeah.
And so it says, and again, you can go to the website and read it, but strictly confidential. Purchasing standards and protocols are changing to mostly late week and in many cases late Friday purchases. This change requires immediate modifications to our buy instructions. Please follow these guidelines, sharing nothing on this buy sheet with anyone outside the organization. Under no conditions can any corporate identification be associated with these instructions. Because I'm not an expert on the laws and how Packers and Stockyards Act and all that works, but I'm pretty sure some of what they're telling them to do here is illegal.
Yeah.
And basically what it comes down to is, there's mandatory price reporting. When they buy cattle, they have to report, how many and at what price. And so their whole goal is they don't really mind paying too much, air quotes, for cattle here or there, for one truckload from you, but they don't want to report it if they pay too much because they don't want that to then
up the prices.
Raise the market, because the majority of cattle they buy are not negotiated. They're bought on the grid, which is basically based on the board.
Yeah.
So it said, the primary objective is locating the lowest quality cattle in the trade area and making those purchases live FOB from the feed yard, in assuring that transaction is reported. So they want to make
let's show the cheap ones.
Yeah, let's buy the shittiest cattle we can, which it translates to the cheapest cattle we can, and be sure that gets reported in the USDA report. Then it says if more cattle are not available at that price, do not raise the price for live FOB cattle. Again, because those are the ones that are going to get reported.
Yeah.
To make more purchases. And it details all these different kind of loopholes they can go through to buy those cattle, but not have them fall under mandatory price reporting. And I won't go through every little detail of how they do it. And most of this, and I'm not an expert in selling live cattle, that are directly ready for slaughter. I've never done that. But pretty much just about everybody, kind of assumed or knew this is what they did.
Yeah.
But for it to be now officially
shown,
and I don't know if it was a whistleblower or
that's what I was thinking. It
somebody
sounds
leaked it. Somebody clearly from one of the major four meat packers leaked it.
Do they have any idea which meat packer?
So Corbett put it like this. He said, the rumor is it's one that shares its name with a retired famous prize fighter.
So they got it pretty narrowed down.
Yeah. So I thought, that was, so I was like, there you go. But yeah, it goes through their different ways of doing that. Then they talk about messaging. It's important to send messages out into the trade. Sellers are always fearful of a market turning downward. Some examples to discuss with feed yards during weekly conversations are beef demand is poor and the heat retarding sales at retail in addition to a slowdown at restaurants.
So they're wanting to discourage people.
Well, they're wanting to tell the feed yards, man, demand is poor. Pretty much, we don't really need your cattle, but we'll do you a favor and take them off your hands.
Yeah, just make them get the low price.
I mean, that's... Boy, we just really don't need them this week. But I know you need to get rid of them. I'll do you a solid, and we'll buy them. It's going to be maybe not what you were looking for. And it goes, processing losses are mounting, and the management is ordering slaughter reductions. This is going to get worse week by week. Exports are declining and set for a further decline due to high prices in the U.S. China and other trade partners are
Dude, they're going to kill the guy that leaked that.
Oh,
the guy that leaked that is in serious danger.
A recession is hanging on the rise, and just all these ways to kind of put fear and doubt in, oh God, we better go ahead and sell our cows this week because they're gonna be worth a whole lot less next week. But I was like, damn, and And who knows? Like, I'm
Nothing will
cynical
come
and
of it,
skeptical
probably,
enough.
yeah.
Like, yeah, like, you know, but it does kind of highlight further. Like, all right, this is concrete evidence. I mean, I guess somebody could say it's fabricated or whatever, that the meat packers are doing things to suppress mandatory price reporting as it should be.
Yeah.
We've got specifically that Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act that the NCBA is fighting tooth and nail against, and up to this point has been able to block it and kill it.
Yeah.
When you have concrete evidence, yes, of the fact that they're working every way, you know, some even illegally, to suppress that reporting. And look, it makes me a little bit sick to my stomach to think about putting more government regulation on anything, but we got to have that negotiated trade to establish that base price.
Yeah.
And the more of that negotiated trade we have, the easier it is to get true price discovery. But anyway, it makes it even more ridiculous that the NCBA won't come out in support of that. But anyway,
well,
that was a pretty neat little story.
Yeah, well, and I mean, like you say, it truly shows what we've been saying all along. I mean, how they're manipulating the markets and going out like it's just concrete
and like I say,
evidence.
most people are like, well, yeah, you know, we knew this, but yes, this is just puts it on paper.
It's easy to have like people saying this is what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
but
less
like
of a conspiracy theory now. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of like the whole, you know, like the Kennedy, you know, thing. It's like, I guess who officially came out and said the CIA killed him?
I don't remember.
Was it anybody that really knew? But anyway, everybody was like, well, yeah, we knew that.
Oh yeah, nothing came of that. Nothing at all came of that. And I will spare everybody. Last week I had said this week I was going to go down the alien path, and I did watch. I don't know if you watched much of it, but
No.
I did watch some of the Congress or whatever hearings with Goresh, the guy that was that's a whistleblower that's come out. I got bored with it pretty quick because they'd ask him a question, he'd be like, I can't discuss those details in this forum, and like he would have to do it behind closed doors, and it's like, God, man, like.
Well, I saw a good little comedian skit on Instagram yesterday, and it was like, and you know, he was pretending to be the government, and all these people were pelting him with questions like, and he's like, aliens are real, and like,
Yeah.
he's like, and what was his other one? He's like, the CIA, you know, we
killed Kennedy.
and then it's like all the reporters are like, where's all this money that's going to Ukraine going?
Yeah.
It's just a big money laundering scheme, isn't it? What about Epstein's client list? Can we see that? Just highlighting how, the fact that they're just coming out with, it's all a big smoke screen. Like, why? And then it got me to wonder, I was like, how many, like, just archive stories they like, all right, we got this
We can
story
release it now.
that we're just saving this. Like, we really don't care. It's declassified now, but we're going to wait until we really need to bury something else. It was kind of like I told you I watched Tread, the Killdozer story.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it because, of course, I didn't. When it happened, I didn't know it. But Ronald Reagan died the day after that happened.
Really?
And so it kept it from being
Making
a much bigger
mainstream.
story
Gotcha.
than what it otherwise would have been.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, like I actually, you know, I put up a poll out of curiosity on Instagram.
Yeah, I think I voted in it. Yeah.
Yeah, you said you're beginning to wonder, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So I gave 3 options about, you know, are aliens real? And it was yes, no, and I'm starting to wonder. And I can't remember offhand, but I had probably 30 people that said no. But I had between yes and starting to wonder, I probably had about 50 or 60 people. So we're erring towards the sides of believing or wondering more so than hard no. But like my buddy, it's funny, my buddy Austin Legg, he voted no. And I was really shocked because he's a firm believer in Bigfoot, truly. Like, he truly believes in Bigfoot. And he'll tell you, like, I had him on Living Fully Loaded. We talked a little bit about, he's been on, I think he was on some of those Finding Sasquatch shows. And Austin truly believes it. So when he voted no, I wrote to him and I was like, I am shocked that you voted no. And he said, dude, I know because I believe in Bigfoot and ghosts. You would think I'd be on board with aliens, but he's like, it's a government conspiracy. He said they are using this strictly to cover up something else that they got going on. And so that's what he said. And he was like, and honestly, I think that it's the government's way of, they have a cop out now. They can have some crazy high tech technology and they can be like, oh, it's aliens. You know, like he was like, that's kind of their way to say, like, we don't know what that is.
I've heard some people, talk about too, like, what if it's not aliens and some of this stuff, but it's time travelers from the future?
I was about to jokingly ask time travelers.
Yeah.
So they really think it's some time travelers?
Well, no,
Marty McFly?
They were just throwing out theories. Like, could it be that?
Damn, that's be really wild.
But then they were like, well, if it is aliens, like, why hide it from the public?
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe because we're studying this spacecraft and we don't want our enemies. We want to have that technology and not, foreign adversaries. Okay. Or they said maybe they're just so incredibly awful that they're afraid that the general public can't handle it.
Yeah. Because they claim that the one guy, Gresh, said they have a body.
Yeah.
He did say they had a body. I like the theory of it being Marty McFly being better. You know who he is, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, well, sometimes your movie.
I know, but man, somebody my age that's never seen the Back to the Future series. How many are there? 3 or 4?
3. Yeah,
just
3 of them. Yeah, that guy, Doc.
I've seen them all. Like, I loved them.
Those are great.
I've watched them not too long ago because they're good ones to watch with your kids.
That's what I was going to say. My kids now.
A little bit of language, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing they don't hear from me.
Yeah, lots of titties in there, but, you just cover their eyes.
You're joking.
Yeah, there's no.
That would have definitely left an impression. I can remember every set of boobies I saw in a movie as a kid, and that was not one that comes to mind.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. Before I jump to the next section, I got to say, I think the first, if I remember right, I've talked about how I was a big Commando Terminator fan growing up. I'm not sure my parents, let me rephrase that. I'm not sure my mom realized what was in some of them because, Commando wasn't bad, but the Terminator had a pretty intense sex scene. And
see, I was never a big Terminator.
Oh man, used to watch that. I used to see. So I would see Sarah Connor's boobs probably once a month, and I was like 9 probably at the time I was watching it.
I had a patient today named Connor, and I kept calling him John Connor.
John Connor.
Like, none of my staff knew what I was talking about.
Oh, they looked pretty young when I was in there the other day.
Yeah, couple of these weren't even thought of whenever. Well, what year was Terminator?
It was like 84.
Oh Jesus! Like
I
don't know if their parents were born then.
Yeah. You see, you would have been in the womb.
No, I was.
Or 83.
Yeah.
83. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I've got some staff that are like
2000s.
They're gonna be like 2004. Yeah.
Gosh, that's crazy to hear. Yeah.
Like, literally, their parents might not have been born when Terminator came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I'm old enough to be their dad.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Well, I got a pretty cool one here. On top of like what you were saying, and it kind of ties in a little bit, I would say. Like that's coming out and being exposed. This is some more cage rattling that's going on. So, have you followed any of this farm payment abuse bill that like Chuck Grassley and some of these other senators have put forth?
No, I don't. I'm not familiar with it.
Well, it's gaining a lot of steam because it's got bipartisan support now. But the whole purpose is to stop these huge operations from getting all of the money.
Okay.
And
I might have caught a little wind of that. We're trying to eliminate these guys from having multiple different
entities and all that bullshit.
Like one and so that they can max out, payments under. Yeah.
The initial premise is they're gonna put a cap on it of $250,000 per family. Like, and I don't know how they're gonna do all the ins and outs of it. But I'll tell you, old Grassley, man, he said all the right words. Like
he's been one of the big ones for Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act. And Iowa is one of the states that their state cattlemen's association, I'm pretty sure, has stepped not broken away from the NCBA, but they have not been in lockstep with the NCBA on everything. Much to my displeasure, unlike what our state, Tennessee Cattlemen's Group, has done. But anyway.
Well, let me tell you a little bit of what he says.
He seems pretty solid.
It sounds like it. Yeah, I didn't know he was involved on that one too. But
yeah, I think he's one of the authors of that.
I wonder if he has family farming background, because he seems very passionate about this stuff. Because
Iowa, obviously, agriculture's
very bigger
there, in that state, than a lot of others, and so it makes sense that he wants to take care of his constituents.
Well, his thing here, he said several quotes that I was like, hell yeah, when I was reading them. And first he said, we need to make sure that the farm program is in fact a safety net, but for medium and small farmers, as opposed to those that farm 10,000 to 15,000 acres. I don't have anything against big farms getting bigger, but I don't think we should subsidize them to get bigger. And then the crazy statistic, which we've kind of shared some of this, but he added that 10% of U.S. farming operations receive 70% of yearly farm payments, which we've talked about before. The big guys get the big payments. I mean, and for people that haven't listened to the other ones, we've talked about like I know I can speak from honest God experience out here. I've seen it firsthand. We got guys around here, they put a cap on it. Like, people don't know a lot about the farm payments. Like, we've had several years ago, they did payments. There was $125,000 maximum you could get. Now, it wasn't like a cap like this where they, I guess, tracked all your entities, but per farming entity, and that's a special word here, you could get $125,000. Now, it was based on your acreage. That year, I'm very transparent here. I got like $20,000. That's all I qualified for. I ain't buying a new Duramax with that kind of money. But I know some big operators that got like over $1 million. And you're like, well, there's a cap. Well, they have about 9 different tax entities. So every entity goes and qualifies. Every entity. And so they're kind of, they're playing the system. And that's what they're trying to stop. And he had another good quote here I wanted to read. And I just love this whole part. I just love this part. It isn't right to send bloated farm payments to people who are more familiar with an office chair than a tractor seat. And I'm like, you're damn right, man. And he said, this bill brings honesty to the farm payment system, prioritizes farming families over mega farms, and hard-earned tax dollars should only be sent to hard-working farmers, those with calluses on their hands and dirt under their fingernails. Like, I was like, man, I like it.
And I might have caught a little wind of this, maybe even in another podcast, because they were talking, a lot of farm owners and appear to be the operators are people that you don't even set foot on, the farm. Like, they're owning it and, managing maybe the business side of it from, they may not even be in the same state.
Yeah.
They're just collecting all these payments. And I too, a lot of these mega big operations, if they're run very well, because the subsidies are in place to protect, American agriculture, to make it so it remains profitable for us to grow crops.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I'm not a huge operator like that, but I would like to think most of them probably are pretty solid. Like a subsidy is not as vital to them making it through maybe a rough year as it is for the smaller guy.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know how you make it fair exactly, but certainly eliminating, one operation from having multiple entities, which, they need to close that loophole, which, part of me, I'm like, the guys that are using that loophole, part of me, I'm like, don't hate the player, hate the game. That the system should have never been set up like that. Because I get, I guess the most recent money I really got was during the CFAP, the coronavirus food, whatever program. But I was in a situation where I've been very open. Like, I was not seriously damaged by the markets crashing.
Yeah.
In a way, it helped me because I was buying cattle.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do like the meat packers and go out there and
we need to lowball you. Markets are bad.
I had the old SARS-CoV-2 to help me out. That and the fact that our government shut down, but or told us to all shut everything down. But yeah, like it. I mean, my operation was fine that year, and I would have been fine without those payments. But you're damn right, I was going to take them.
Yeah.
And some people might say, well, oh, that's hypocritical. That's shitty of you to do that. Well, you know what? My biggest income is all farm, and I pay a shitload of taxes. It's all a racket. It's all a big damn game of, all right, I pay in this many tens of thousands of dollars every year in taxes. I got back, I don't know what we got in CFAP. I'd have to look it up, but, a couple $1,000, say.
Yeah.
That's just me trying to get scratch and claw and get back what was mine to begin with. And I know that the IRS or whoever say, oh no, but no, it's a big damn racket. Is all it is.
Oh,
That's where I go back to. Let's cut out the subsidies. Let's cut out
all of
welfare. Let's cut out all these tax breaks and different things and whatnot, and let's just cut our taxes in half or by 2/3 down to what they probably really should be.
Yeah.
And quit. My CPA, which one I currently use, is actually retiring, so he's safe. But there might be a lot of young and up and coming CPAs without jobs. But just make this damn system simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm saying, and that's what I've always.
Give me a flat tax rate, much lower than what we got now. Eliminate all this bullshit where you get money back here and this way and that way. And our state ag enhancement program, which we don't have a state income tax, it's all state money. Well, I still contend, and I take advantage of it every year. Like, why in the hell is the state giving me money to build a hay barn?
Yeah.
But they will.
Yeah.
Buy cattle, buy a squeeze chute, buy a creep feeder. Like, I can't even name all the things I bought. Feed troughs, hay ring, like every year. Like, why? Like, maybe just quit charging us, which again, we don't pay income tax here, but cut back on our sales tax or some other way you tax. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, no,
that's our anti-tax rant for this episode.
I'm with you. I'm with you because that's been kind of what I've always said from the get-go is I wish we just eliminate the subsidies. Like, in this comparison, I'd be a small operator.
Well, and I would say just the one thing where if you totally eliminate them, I don't know if this would happen. It would take like an economist or somebody, that really knows the global markets. Like, would that be the end of, say, growing soybeans and corn and cotton in this country? Because all of a sudden they could grow it cheaper overseas.
Yeah.
I was actually just listening to a podcast. They were talking specifically about shrimpers. And pretty much the U.S. shrimp industry is on life support because they don't have any subsidies, and we can import them. We're over importing because it's so cheap to buy shrimp, basically like out of Asia.
Yeah.
That they're having to compete with those markets, and they're pretty much operating at a loss. Like,
gotcha.
Like they can't even. I believe they said they're working for starvation wages, basically, wanting to continue shrimping in this country. And so I worry about that for our food security because, all of a sudden, if, say, we just said, all right, total free market, it just doesn't make sense to grow any of those crops here in the U.S. They can grow them so much cheaper. We can import it out of South America cheaper than we can grow it here. And then we quit growing it here, and then all of a sudden, we're not food secure anymore.
Yeah.
A pandemic hits or a global war breaks out, whatever, and then all of a sudden, we're starving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because that's what, I had a guy one time tell me that he considers ag part of the defense sector of the country.
Oh, yeah, it's vital to our national security. If we can't feed ourselves, then what are we? We're not a country anymore.
Yeah. And you do, but I just, something's got to change.
I agree. I don't know. You don't want it to get to the point where, we're not at the point where, we're at the point where you got entities that are, farming the government, they're lining their pockets, got 2 vacation homes in addition to their original home, that they're not using these subsidies to help get by. You know, they're
Well, and see, that actually was another thing. What did it was something else in there. A certain percentage, a pretty large percentage of their income or something has to come solely off of the farming operation. Like they had several clauses in there that are pretty good. And I remember Dad telling me years ago, like cotton, they don't get the cotton subsidies that they used to. But used to, I mean, there was guys around here, and this is public knowledge. Like, you could Google it. I remember Dad showing me, like, we pulled it up.
Those websites, you pull it up, and
you could see what people were getting. And, I mean, it'd be people getting $250,000 checks like nothing. Like, it was nothing. And Dad was telling me some of them guys, their cotton subsidies would pay all of their rent. So, like, they were not coming out of pocket at all on the rent. They were paying their inputs. But basically, the government was paying all their rent.
Yeah, those checks are big enough to cover that.
Yep.
And I don't know why. I mean, I know cotton, obviously, you know, especially like in wartime and things like that, is vital to, you know, national security. You know, having, you know, being able to make our own textiles. But somebody that's more of a cotton historian could, I'm sure, give us a good explanation as why cotton had the big payments. And other crops did not necessarily. But yeah, that's a subject that, man, there's a lot of nuance to it, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm glad they're trying to tackle it, but I don't know what the answer is really.
I don't either. Well, you know what I mean? We both, I'd say, pretty hard on the libertarian side, and so you know, part of us, we're kind of like, that's why it's easy to kind of be like, let's give it the capitalist approach. Let's get the government out of the way, kind of thing. And so I don't know, but yeah, that just hearing that, the fact that Congress, there's a congressman, something on that kind of media level is acknowledging the fact that there are large operations abusing the system. Yeah. Just the fact that that's being acknowledged is good.
And that is happening in every industry. You know, there's always some bad actors. There's always people that are figuring out how to cheat the system. And so
Chuck clearly listens to our podcast.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, Chuck, open invitation to come on as a guest sometime.
Hey, I'll shoot him an email. I ain't afraid. I'll try to get Chuck on here.
He is a solid dude on most of the stuff, you know, like the specifically I'm talking about within the beef industry where, you know, legislative issues and whatnot. You know, he is usually on what I would consider to be the right side of things.
Yeah. Chuck would be a pretty cool guest.
You're a lot of your heck yeah, that'd be a major feather in our hat. But you know, you get into states like Arkansas where there's a major meat packer that shares a name with a retired prize fighter, but they own the state. Like they run that state. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I was a politician in that state and they had given millions or tens of millions to my campaign, like,
see, how do you go up against? How does the normal guy, the normal cattleman, go up against that?
Right. Well, like they're, and yeah, you know, they may say the right things to your face, but yeah, they're gonna be beholden to the ones who donate all the money to them.
Yep. Well, yeah. One other thing I wanted to talk about too. I made some notes here before we finish up. Have you looked into the autonomous tractors that Case is making?
I have not looked into them. I can say that with 100% certainty. I have seen a little about them, you know, just heard a little about them. I actually have heard, I listened, again, we're sitting here talking on a podcast, talk about all the podcasts I listen to, where they had somebody from Case, from like their research and development, that was talking about them and like the different degrees of autonomy. And it's pretty wild to think about.
It is wild, man. Like, yeah, so they're gonna try to launch some electric tractors, which they did say their big hurdle is gonna be row crop, because they were like, you know, you have combines and tractors that run for 10, 12, 16, 18 hours a day, and they're like, they don't have an electric motor that can maintain and also needs to produce 400 and 500 horsepower. So they were like, they don't have that right now. They could do that. So they're kind of gearing them right now, the all electric, towards your smaller stuff that's going to run for several hours and be done. Like, you could go plug it in That's kind of their goal. The big stuff they're wanting to do, like a hybrid motor, I think, where it would be like, I don't know if you would run on diesel for a little while, electric on a little while, but that's kind of what they're thinking on them. But a couple pretty wild things. This is just wild. Like, I want people to really think about this is kind of where we're at, because, you know, I feel like our vehicles we drive, you know, there's a lot of stuff on them, but like if you watch, like we talked Back to the Future, you know, you watch those and then you watch them where the later episodes where they go into the future and it's like flying cars and stuff.
Yeah.
We're not there. We're not there on vehicles. But this stuff they're talking about in the ag sector is pretty dang wild. Like, so one of the things is an autonomous grain buggy tractor synced with the combine.
Yeah.
And basically, like they said, they're trying to get the combines. You'll still have an operator in there, but they're like, there's so much going on in a combine and the driver's in it for so long, they want to make certain elements of it autonomous.
Yeah.
And so your combine would basically, I mean, essentially in a computer way, would speak to the tractor and grain buggy. And it would let it know when it's full, and the tractor and grain buggy would drive itself up there, and it would pull up beside it, and it would unload.
And see, that seems totally doable to me.
Yeah.
I know obviously there's a lot of computer programs. You need a lot of computer nerds figuring stuff out. But like the combine already has all kind. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but maybe for a listener, electronics knows exactly how fast it's filling up. I mean, you can probably even predict how far down this next row it'll be before the tank is full.
Yeah.
You know, based off, you know, what the previous.
Yeah, I can turn a percentage mode on, and mine will show the percentage of it's filling up.
And so, and of course, everything's GPSed. Why couldn't you have an autonomous machine come up beside you? You know, of course, your machine knows when it's there. Extend that auger and start unloading, and then the grain buggy, which I know, I don't know. Does your grain buggy have like any electronics and scales, anything on it?
No, mine does not. But there are some that have the scales and all that on there.
But it's not like that technology exists.
Yeah.
And so then it knows, oh, we're full now. And then it's obviously communicating with the combine. The combine can tell it, hey, I'm done unloading on you. And then you've got the truck GPSed to where it's sitting, and then it goes and puts it on truck.
Yeah.
And
they got them now, like.
And then the truck's made by Tesla, and it drives straight to the ground.
They have, you can sync up your like John Deere monitors together, so that like you got to have operators in them right now.
Pretty much, you can get them side by side, take hands off steering wheel. Yeah,
you would engage your auto steer.
Yeah, like that technology is already here. And so I mean, I know logistically making it all go together, but like it's not hard to see that working.
Yeah. The other one that was pretty wild, and you would appreciate this even more. So they're gearing up for cattle and ranches, and they're trying to like help those guys out a lot. And they're developing tractors basically where when the driver gets off to go open a gate, he motions the tractor through the gate, and the tractor will drive through the gate for him. So he doesn't have to continuously get on and
somebody's
off.
Going to get run over.
Yeah.
That's immediately what I think.
Well, but I'm just saying that's kind of what they're trying to make.
It's going to be real muddy, and you're going to motion it through. You're going to get stuck in the mud. You're like, oh, shit.
It's going to be like, stop. Be like in Austin Powers. He's like, stop. And it's doing like a mile an hour towards the guy. But yes, that it said the guy would motion the tractor through. It would come through the gate. And I don't know, I guess.
I mean, I could see, like, it'd be neat, but, I mean, how many gates are you getting off and going through in a day?
Well, they were talking about apparently some of these guys are going through a bunch. Now, Dad and I, we worked some ground one time that we had to go through 3 damned cattle gaps to get to the field. And, I would have loved to have been like, looked at my 8420 or my combine and been like, come on, damn it.
Dude, I am the worst about it. Even when I'm, like, going to check cows and I'm on the side-by-side. Oh, yeah, I hate having to open and close the gate. And
it's the worst.
Well, like when I go check cows on my other farm in the morning, it's not at my house.
Yeah.
When I go through the gate, I don't shut it behind me. I mean, which normally, you know, because I pull on through the gate and I pull on down to where I keep a few feed bunks. I call them up there, I feed them, then I leave.
Yeah.
But
You ever have any stragglers kind of come up there?
Every now and then, like if they're right there around the gate. Actually, one morning this week, I did go ahead and shut it because they were right there.
Yeah.
And I know they're going to follow me because they want to feed.
Yeah.
But I was like, but if one of them decides not to, all of a sudden I might spend the next 2 hours trying to get where I can literally take 15 seconds to just shut this gate, and it saves me all that headache.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll just shut the gate.
Yeah. Well, that's what you need to do is just get like kind of some speed up on the side by side and let it be coasting, jump out, open the gate, let it fly on through the gate. You shut the gate, but you got to run and catch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could there, you could essentially have your own autonomous.
Yeah, I mean, you could
there.
just have cattle guards. I mean, that'd be.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Go back to the old fashioned.
That is so odd to me that works. But
no, it works, and like around here, you don't see it very much. But
there's one on Holly Grove Road going to church.
if you go out west, like they're all over the place.
I wonder why they're not a thing out here.
And they're usually, and a lot of times, like out there where we go mule deer hunting and stuff, they're on like gravel roads because, I mean, it's a county road or whatever out there, but it goes through somebody's ranch, so you can drive it and drive through their property. But I mean, there also might be cows in the road in spots.
Can you imagine the guy that figured that out? Like he had to make like a bridge for his cattle. All he had was like some piping, and so he made it, and the cows are just standing there, and he's like, "Come on, damn it!" Like getting mad as hell at them, and they won't cross it.
Have you? Do you follow? I believe it's Gatlin Didier.
I think I do. Pretty sure.
Instagram.
Yeah.
He did one of those videos. He's kind of a comedian on there. If y'all don't follow him, but it was like my cows watching me walk across the cattle gap, and like he just walks across it, and then it cuts to that scene, and it says, "Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne."
Yeah.
Cows' minds are blown. They can just walk across it. Every now and then you'll have a cow that'll try to beat it. But my in-laws, where my wife grew up, they had one at the end of their driveway. They didn't have cows there. Not by the time I met her. I think they did it one time. It was to keep their horses back, but it worked. I mean, that was.
Do you have any cow? Can a cow get across it? I mean, won't their hoof go down in there?
So I actually have some at my farm.
Yeah.
There used to be one at the gate, but and our cousin Lee, it'd be our dad's first cousin technically.
Yeah.
I don't know if he made them, but they're metal. But where he messed up, he just laid them on the ground.
Oh, don't it have to have like a gap under there?
Yeah. That's the only way it'll work. And so I've got 2 or 3, but they need to be like, you need to have like a ditch underneath them.
Yeah.
That's going over. And actually, that's kind of what I use them for because they were just laying around. I've got them in a couple of spots over ditches, like little bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not, I'm not using them to contain cattle. I'm using them more so I can get equipment across a ditch. But
that's fascinating, though. I saw that one on Holly Grove Road when I was a kid, and I was like, wonder what that is. And then I figured out it was a cattle gap.
Yeah.
Or guard, whatever.
It'd be one of those things I'd be a little nervous, like depending on if I was like on a major, which that's a pretty major road.
Oh, and it's right in a curve too.
And I don't know, do they have cows that can walk right up there to it though?
Yeah.
Because I would like trust it, like if it was just like in my barnyard or something to keep them out of a certain area.
Yeah.
But if it was like keeping them off of a major highway or anything, I'd be a little more nervous. But it's kind of one of those things too. Once especially like if you got a cow herd, like once they get
used to it,
trained to it, just like being trained to a hot wire fence.
Yeah.
Cows that have no idea what hot wire is, like they're going to walk up to it and walk right underneath it before they even realize it's zapping them.
Yeah.
Whereas cows that know what it is, they won't even get near it. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. Well, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. We got you got it tonight.
Yeah, and well, let me dial up our fearless leader. One of these days.
Yeah, we say it every time.
One of these days. Now that we've got a sponsor, maybe we can afford to do that.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it'll cost us anything to do it.
No, we got the board right here. Oh, uh-oh.
Joe, you can't ever count on Joe.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
Yeah, I felt like it would only be fitting that we would highlight another Ag Zaga product tonight.
All right, yeah.
And then this is one, again, we're not going to highlight any American-made product that we have not used, but I have, in addition to the sprayer that we've highlighted in the past, they have rake wheels. They're replacement rake wheels to put on your rake. I think they have 2 different bolt patterns, and pretty much it's universal. Between those two, these wheels will fit on your rake. But they are American-made, got the sticker right there on it, made in USA. I put 2 on my rake. I had some wheels that were, I just had a bunch of teeth broken, which you can buy the rake teeth from them. I did that as well. They sent me a bunch of rake teeth and those wheels, but I had some wheels that were kind of warped up and just needed to be replaced. And they just bolt right on there. It was incredibly easy. So yeah, if you got a rake, that if you just need a few teeth, you can go on there. On their website, they've got all the rake teeth, the different designs and styles, sizes. But also, if you just need to go ahead and replace some entire wheels on your rake, they have those as well. And yeah, you can get 10% off.
Talk Dirt.
Use that code, Talk Dirt. But yeah, check them out. Of course, all kinds of other good stuff on there. We couldn't list it all. The easy thing is you just need to go to.
You do need to go check.
Just go to agzaga.com and browse around. Everybody knows you're sitting there on your phone, tooling around, wasting time.
You're probably taking a dump,
or you're at work. If you're like me and you got an office job too, you're pretending like you're working. Go on there, scroll around. Or you're just sitting on the toilet. Rather than mindlessly scrolling social media, you can check out agzaga.com.
And like I said, you will find something that you need on there. But
we'll have a link in the description, whether it's on YouTube or on your podcast platform, to check out their website, use the discount code. But
check them out. Guys, we do appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching this, please hit that like button, hit subscribe. Leave us a rating and review.
Yes.
So we're right there knocking on the door. And if
we need to get to 200 so somebody can get on the submarine.
Get on the submarine. See us have glorious ponytails, especially Bobby Lee.
It's been pretty much a month since I've cut my hair.
See, he's already preparing.
You're right. Yeah,
that's about the longest I can remember seeing it in a while.
It's crazy. My son, he's like, Daddy, you're growing so much hair.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
And I'm like, he's being so genuine.
Yeah.
But I got to thinking, I can't remember when exactly I started just totally putting a razor blade to my head.
Yeah.
But it might not have been when he was born, but he was young enough that he doesn't ever know me to have had anything but a slick head.
Yeah.
And so now that I hadn't shaved it in like a month, and it's I clearly have nothing up top. And he's like, man, you have so much hair, Dad.
It's coming in pretty good on the back and the sides. So it's still pretty thick there.
I've got the wraparound horseshoe or whatever.
You do got that. You got a little gray in there too, I see.
Oh yeah. If I let it grow out, but I'm just like, well, in his mind, this is
a lot of hair.
He's just assumed his whole life that I had I could not grow hair at all on my head.
He thought you just were like Pawpaw Pee-wee.
Yeah. Well, see, he's the same way. He just keeps his shaved back, but I don't know. I'm just gonna keep letting it grow because it's inevitable. We're getting to 200.
That's right. We'll get to 200. We'll have ponytails. Marcy already hates the idea, but I told her, I was like, we're gonna go with it. I said I want to go with it more because I want to see Bobby Lee with a ponytail.
Like I say, I'm gonna be like a grimy 80s, bad guy.
Yes, you will.
It's just.
We'll have to.
It just the thought of it just makes me feel dirty.
Your clients at the clinic will be like, "What the hell is going on?"
Oh yeah. Oh well.
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Guys, appreciate y'all, and we will catch you next week.
Yeah. Y'all check back in. We'll see you then.